Hey guys, welcome to today's YouTube video, and today I'm going to be sharing with you a list of my favorite yoga poses, and I'm starting right off with seated butterfly pose, and this pose is also known as Baddha Konasana, and this pose I just like it because it just gets me started to the second pose, which is wide leg forward fold. I really like wide leg forward fold because it just stretches my inner thighs. It's also a good way to just, focus or concentrate on one thing per time. And there are different variations I like to try, like this hand mobility stretches around my shoulders, and sometimes I like stretching in between by walking my hands forward, and other times I like to go all the way flat on the ground. So this pose, wide leg forward fold, can also be called straddle split. It has different variations that it can be used for. And guys, the other pose I really like to practice is frog pose. Frog pose can help improve your hip mobility and flexibility, and frog pose is also a good way to improve your stiffness around your hips and your legs. So guys, you know how they say frog pose is a hard pose. It's only hard when you don't practice it as often as possible. But for me personally, frog pose is like my routine pose, especially when I do lower body workout, as it really helps me to stretch my inner thighs. And this half frog variation is also a good way to stretch your inner thighs. And if your goal is to eventually get your middle split, I advise you use frog pose, as frog pose will allow you to improve those hip flexibility. And a good way to do it is to learn how to sit in it for a long time. That is to say, don't be in a hurry to run out of the pose. Be present, be focused on the pose, and just allow yourself to see how much and how far you can stay in the pose. Because the other pose that I really like to practice is downward facing dog. And nothing much, it stretches my back, my shoulders, and a little bit of my legs, and it allows me to transition to other poses like this. Half pigeon. Just like frog pose, half pigeon is also a hip opener. However, it's a deep opener with a different feel to the body. And I like to practice it with different variations, such as this king pigeon variation, where it hits and targets my quad area. And this is a little advanced, and it's okay if you just want to do straight half pigeon, or if you want to go into king pigeon. Now guys, it is so important that when you stretch poses that involves your both legs or both hands, that you balance it out. And so you see showing you guys how it feels on different side of my legs and the intensity of the stretch. So guys, make sure you balance out your yoga poses on both legs and on both hands. The next pose that I really like to practice is wheel pose. And like you see, wheel pose is just that pose that stretches your whole body all at the same time. It helps you stretch your shoulders down to your stomach, down to your core, down to your legs. And I like to practice different variations of it depending on how I feel, and it's just a good way to allow me just focus and stretch my body in different directions as much as possible. Now guys, the next pose that I really like to practice is happy baby. And happy baby is that pose. It's also a hip opening pose, but it's like a hip opening pose while you're doing it in a reclined position. So I like to try different variations. I like to do extended happy baby. I like to do one leg extended happy baby. I like to take my legs around my armpit, and lots of variations. That brings me to the next pose for today, which is knee to chest hug and hamstring stretch. And there are different variations to this hamstring stretch. The little one I'm doing is like a side hamstring stretch, where I'm bringing my hamstring close to my shoulders and stretching my legs as much as I can. It's a bit advanced, so if it works for you, fine. If it doesn't work for you, stick to just knee to chest hug and see how far you can go. But I'll tell you that everything It's all about practice, finding a balance, practicing as much as you need, and making our time to just build and focus on your body. So guys, at the same thing, we have to balance it on the other leg. And sometimes you notice that one might be more flexible than the other, and so it's very important that the amount of energy or intensity you're using for one leg, you also give that to the other leg. And guys, this is called compass pose. I really enjoy practicing compass pose because it challenges me to focus and stretch at the same time, and it's a very good way to improve your focus, improve your balance, improve your mobility. I like compass pose because it's like a fun pose that I can be doing multiple things, but also I'm reminded to find a balance and come back to myself. So guys, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like. The next pose I really like doing is Oyster pose, and in Oyster pose I like to go with this variation where my arms are wrapped underneath my shins, grabbing my toes, and just sitting there. It stretches my lower back, it opens up my hips, and it just allows me to stay, have a little bit of fun and see how far I can, stay in the pose. So guys, the next pose I like to try is this Firefly pose, and even if it's an advanced pose, I really like it. It just with the challenge, you see how strong my upper body is, how far I can hold it, and just see if I can have fun in it. So Firefly is that pose that I really like and I really enjoy. So guys, thank you so much for sticking around to the end of this video. Remember to hit that subscribe button and to like this video, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.